In a small village nestled by the sea, there lived a boy named Toma. His home was a humble one, with its red-tiled roof and narrow windows that faced the endless blue ocean. The village was small, with everyone knowing each other by name, except, one morning, something strange happened. Toma awoke to the sound of seagulls cawing outside his window. He stretched, yawned, and hurried down the stairs, ready for breakfast. But when he sat at the table, his mother didn't greet him with her usual smile. "Good morning, or you," she said, frowning. Toma blinked. "Mom, what's wrong?" His mother stared at him, puzzled. "Why can't I remember your name?" Toma laughed nervously, thinking it was some sort of joke. "It's me, Toma." But his mother shook her head. "No, that doesn't sound right." Confused and a little scared, Toma rushed out of the house and ran down the cobbled streets of the village. He passed his neighbor, Old Man Juba, who always gave him a wave. But today, Juba just glanced at him and muttered, "Now, who's that boy?" Toma's heart pounded. He sprinted to the village square where his friends usually gathered to play. There they were, tossing a ball to each other, laughing. He waved and called out, "Hey! It's me, Toma." But instead of waving back, they stared at him blankly. One of them said, "Do we know him?" Panic settled into Toma's chest. Everyone had forgotten his name. It was as if he no longer existed. Determined to figure out what had happened, Toma decided to visit the oldest, most mysterious person in the village, Marella, the woman who lived deep in the misty forest beyond the cliffs. She was said to know all the ancient stories and forgotten things. With nothing but his courage and a small loaf of bread for the journey, Toma set off into the forest. The path was winding and overgrown, the mist thickening with every step. He could barely see in front of him, but he pressed on, guided only by the faint sound of the ocean in the distance. As he walked, he heard whispers from the trees. "Who are you?" the wind seemed to ask. "Do you even know?" Toma shivered, but he didn't stop. Finally, after what felt like hours, he reached a clearing. There, sitting by a crackling fire, was Marella. She was old, with silver hair that cascaded like waterfalls, her eyes sharp and bright. "You've come to find your name," she said without looking up from the fire. Toma nodded, too exhausted to speak. Marella stirred the fire with a long stick. "Names are powerful things, boy. Lose them, and you lose a part of yourself. But I can help you find it." "How?" Toma asked, his voice trembling. "You must help others remember who they are," she said. "Only by giving can you find what you've lost." Toma didn't understand, but he knew he had no other choice. Marella handed him a small, carved stone. "Take this. It will guide you to those who need help." Toma took the stone and thanked her, though he wasn't sure how a rock could possibly help. As he turned to leave, Marella called after him, "Remember, your name is not just a sound. It's who you are." Toma clutched the stone tightly and made his way back into the mist. As he walked, the stone began to glow faintly, pulling him in a new direction. He followed its light until he stumbled upon a young girl sitting by a fallen tree, crying. "What's wrong?" Toma asked. The girl sniffled, wiping her eyes. "I'm lost. I can't remember how to get home." Toma's heart ached for her. "Don't worry. I'll help you find your way." Together, they walked, following the path the stone illuminated. As they journeyed, Toma told her stories about the sea, the village, and how he had lost his own name. By the time they reached her home, the girl smiled and said, "Thank you, Toma." For the first time in days, someone had said his name. Toma's heart lifted. The next day, the stone led him to an old fisherman who had forgotten how to cast his net, then to a baker who had forgotten the recipe for bread. With each person Toma helped, they remembered their own skills and stories. And with each act of kindness, Toma's name grew stronger in his own heart. Finally, after many days of helping others, Toma returned to the village. As he walked through the square, something miraculous happened. People began to greet him by name once again. "There's Toma. Good to see you, Toma. Welcome back, Toma." Toma smiled, realizing what Marella had meant. His name was not just a word, it was a reflection of the connections he had with others, of the kindness and courage he had shown. That night, as Toma lay in bed, he whispered his name to himself, knowing that as long as he remembered who he was, he would never be truly lost.